it's Liv. So Christmas is rapidly approaching, which is great. It's my favorite holiday and it's my favorite time of year, but it's hard to enjoy it when you're plagued by finals incessantly breathing down your neck. I just wanted to share you guys some tips that I used in high school to study for tests and exams, and they're the same tips that I'm using now to study, so I'm hoping that they still work, to be honest. But if they don't work and they don't work for you, don't hold me to it because I'm just trying to do me, honestly. I'm assuming they're gonna be rather useful. I mean, I used them in high school, like I said, and I graduated with a 91.5 average, so some schools I know haven't started finals yet, but I know that some have already finished, so if you've already finished, I mean, like, I'm sorry, I don't think this is gonna help you very much. It's already too late. But if you're like me and you're going into them next week, I wanna wish you good luck and leave you with some tips to help you out. So my first tip that I use, and I absolutely swear by it, is writing out your notes by hand. And I don't mean like in class, because sometimes profs or high school teachers can talk really, really fast, and it just gets really, really stressful, especially if you're like me and you're like a perfectionist. When I go to class, I take notes on my laptop and I just like type everything out. Obviously, I do the readings before and I make notes on the readings, and then when I go into class, I just add to them on my laptop. And then when I get home after class, or back to my dorm, I guess home after class, I just handwrite it out into these little notebooks, and then I condense it all, and it just really, really helps me when it's time to go back and review and study. I'm pretty sure handwriting is like proven to improve your memory as well. Like, handwriting for me is a form of studying because it just helps me to really lock it into my brain. So oh my god, these are my notebooks that I use. I got them all from Muji. This isn't sponsored, but like, Muji, please sponsor me, because I paid $17.50 for colored pens, and honestly it was ridiculous, but I'm probably gonna do it again. So I've got a different notebook for every subject. Some of them I don't use just because I don't really need to take notes for those courses, but then some of them I use. My French one, I just hand wrote all my vocabulary into, and it's really, really helpful for me. I also think it's a lot of fun, and it just helps me de-stress when I use like different colored pens and different colored markers and make everything look pretty. It's kind of like studying, but I'm not like overly stressed about it. So the second tip I learned from one of my favorite teachers in high school. She was my French teacher, and I just remember going to her like crying because I was so stressed for finals at the end of grade 12. She would tell me that when she would study, she would just take breaks every now and then. She wouldn't take like incessantly long breaks, which is what I used to do, and then I would just get distracted and never start studying again. But she would do simple things like eat a small snack or have a cup of tea or something, and then as soon as you're done your task, you go right back to work. So I've actually found this really useful in helping me to relax my mind and kind of get my mind off things before going back to studying and getting work that I need to get done finished. So I'll tend to do things like she suggested, like making myself a cup of tea or going to have a meal, because you know, when you're like grinding that hard every day, sometimes you just forget to eat. It'd be like that. Or I'll go have a snack. Sometimes I'll fold laundry, go put laundry in the dryer if I need to, or just tidy up my workspace a little bit. I tend not to use my phone as my break because it can just be really, really distracting and really hard to get refocused. Same thing as like watching Netflix or watching a movie. I just do simple tasks that I need to get done anyway, and it helps me to get those things done and take my break at the same time, and then I go right back to the grind. My third tip is to really, really, really pace yourself. I found that I was doing a lot of work every single day, and in the end I would just end up burning myself out because I was trying to get like 7 chapters of something done and then like 3 readings of something else done, and it was just a lot. So what I did is I started breaking things up into smaller tasks to help me feel more accomplished. I started to plan daily what I was going to study that day in my little planner. This is my 2018 planner. It's a Paris planner because I want to do an exchange in France in a few years, so I bought this at the beginning of the year, and I just go through and I write day by day what I want to study that day. So for example, today is December 6th. I wrote that it's my last day of class. I have to review my psych notes, my astronomy class was canceled, and I have a French lab from 6:30 to 8:30. That seems just so much easier to me than going through like 9 chapters of something in a textbook, and I find that it really helps me to not feel so overwhelmed and stressed out. When I'm studying day by day, I also like to make sure that I time it so that I can get everything in, and then the last few days before the test or exam I use as like review days to just go through, kind of quiz myself on things and make sure that I'm really caught up and I know everything that I need to know. Because there's honestly nothing worse than going into an exam thinking you know everything you need to know and then reading the first question and being like, well, crap. Tip number 4, I think we're on 4, I hope so, or I just look so stupid and you probably shouldn't take study tips from me, is to get enough sleep. Getting a good sleep before a test or an exam or anything else is actually so important, And I know that usually as teenagers, we're big fans of staying up all night to cram or whatever, and teachers and adults are always like, make sure you get a good sleep before you come in tomorrow. And honestly, it's true. It's really, really important to know when to stop studying. Realistically, I tell myself if it's 3 in the morning and my exam's at 8 in the morning, if I don't know it at that point, I'm not gonna know it. So I might as well just go to bed at like 9. Okay, not 9, I'm like literally so extra, but you guys know what I mean. Statistically, people who don't sleep as well don't do as well on the exam. And when you're sleep deprived, you also lose your ability to tell how well you did on something. So you could go into your exam with no sleep, write your exam, do super, super poorly on it and think you did great, when in reality, you just can't tell how terribly you did on your exam. You don't want to like see your mark in the class and see that it's dropped so much because you failed the exam because you didn't sleep. It's literally such a simple solution that makes a world of difference. I don't even know what number we're on. I think it's 5. Tip 5 is finding a space that works for you. Personally, I can't study in my bedroom because it just doesn't work. I have so many distractions in here. I tend to study in study rooms a lot. In residence, we have a lot of just quiet study rooms with like a big window and just a table, no distractions, and I'll just throw some music on and just sit there and study for like hours. I find that when you're in the right place and you can allow yourself to get really, really lost in what you're studying and what you're doing, it makes it so much easier to get through the material. I totally lose track of time sometimes when I'm studying, which makes me sound like such a loser, but like it's true. If you're living in residence like I am and you have study rooms, use them to your full advantage. We have study rooms in each floor of our residence that we can all use, and then we've got a lounge we can study in, and there are study rooms in some of the other buildings that we can use. I don't really care which study room I use, you know, sometimes I feel like being here just if I need to like run across the hall to my room to get something. Sometimes I want to go to the other building if it's quiet. Sometimes I want to be in the library. It really all depends on what works for you. The type of atmosphere when you study is also very important. If you feel like you need some white noise in the background, maybe you could try a Starbucks or something. If you feel like you just need dead silence, maybe try a library or a study room. You can just make it as quiet as you want. Sorry if I'm like looking out here a lot. There's like snow falling and it's so pretty and it just reminds me of Christmas. I would also recommend not studying in bed because our brains associate bed with being tired and sleeping, so you're more likely to get sleepy if you study in your bed or distracted or anything. I had another teacher in high school tell me that too. It's not a good idea. You should probably just not do it. At the end of the day, it's all about finding what works for you. I remember one time I was working out downstairs in our residence fitness room, and a girl in my French class came in and put her French textbook on the treadmill and started highlighting as she was doing a full-on sprint. I mean, personally, I couldn't do that, but I rate her for that. So how you choose to study is just important as where you choose to study, which is why my final tip is find methods that work for you. This was like a big thing for me for a long time in high school. I would just go through the textbooks over and over and over, and then I wondered why my marks weren't as high as I wanted them to be. There are so many different kinds of learners out there. I remember in careers class, we just had to go through and do those tests that told us what kind of learners we were, and then nobody paid attention to it after. Yeah, those are the most important things that you can pay attention to. I'm talking about the tests that were like visual, auditory, kinesthetic, whatever learners, not like those tests that were like, what kind of color are you? Like, those were stupid. But if you guys know what I mean, then you know what I mean. Some people learn just by listening to things. Some people learn by doing things. Some people learn by looking at things. Personally, like I said, I copy out notes, but I also do cue cards if I need to memorize things. This is my fat stack of French vocab cards for my midterm test a couple weeks ago. It looks like a lot, but it was divided up into 9 chapters, and honestly, it wasn't that bad. Cards really help me memorize things because I can just go over and over and over the things I need. So I would write vocab on the front and then the English on the back, and I would just quiz myself. Obviously, it's whatever works for you. If you don't like the idea of cue cards and the look of this stack that's literally as fat as my head is daunting to you, you can use Quizlet because it's the same thing, but it's online. I know some people have other methods like just reading the chapter summaries or going over reviews, reviewing notes or whatever. I also know a lot of people who group study. I feel really bad because people ask me to group study all the time. Like, people in my classes will be like, hey, like, you want to get together and study this thing? And I'm like, yeah, totally. And then like I never do because group studying just isn't my thing. It doesn't work for me. I like to be on my own so I can take my own breaks and go at my own pace and whatever else. Obviously it's helpful if you're not doing well in the class and somebody else is and they want to group study with you. Sometimes I'm like, why do you want to study with me? Because I don't know what's going on. I mean, those are pretty much all the tips I have aside from the obvious, like stay hydrated, eat healthy. The snow is falling so much, it's so pretty. I hope that whether you guys have started finals or not, this video is very helpful to you. Maybe if you've already finished finals, you can try using these tips next semester. Maybe this video is just not helpful at all and I'm like just being annoying. Filming this is actually one of my breaks from studying right now, yeah. I started like writing my psych notes and then I was like, I need a break, so here I am. But I think it's time for me to stop procrastinating these notes and get to it because my midterm for psych is in a week. I actually think it's in less than a week. So yeah. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and I hope it was helpful to you. I actually like making university videos. I'm probably gonna do more of them because I don't know a lot of things about a lot of things, but I've learned a lot in the past 4 months. So until my next video, I will see you guys later. If you are going into finals right now or midterms or anything else, good luck. Use all the tips you can to your advantage, not just from me, but from anywhere else, literally anywhere else, because we're all in this together and we all need it. And I will talk to you guys in the next video. Bye. This is the view from my window. Look how pretty. Can you even see the snow? Look at the snow. So pretty. So pretty.